Hey guys, it's Chris here. I thought it was about time to finish the second half of the layout for the True North that I adapted either earlier this week or last week. Sorry, just one second. I just need to find my glasses. So everybody has left for work this morning, so I have some quiet time. So I thought this is what I would do. As promised, I've been working on adapting some of the workshop from True North, the current campaign from Close to My Heart to help celebrate the 15th year anniversary in Canada. So I played with some of the cards, and then I did a layout, one of the layouts from the workshop. So this one I did just exactly the way that it's supposed to be, that they planned it in the workshop. So we did that one. There's a video on that one. And then I decided to move along to a 2-page spread, which takes a lot of time. So I decided to film them in 2 separate episodes, so to speak. So this is the one we're going to do today. I did this one earlier. So the way that I adapted it is it's exactly the same pretty much. I've swapped out some of the colors of the leaves. But what I did was I added one of the new products from this idea book, which is the texture paste. This is the opaque texture paste, and I mixed it with re-inker and red shimmer brush. So I'll link the video in the bottom here, but I just took out my all-purpose mat. I cut overlay from the art booking cartridge with our new stencil film, and pulled out my all-purpose mat and laid it down. Because it takes quite a while to dry, I didn't want to do it on the backgrounds on camera, so I created just a card front, but it shows you exactly what I did. And then I assembled this layout, just adding some more details to make it a little more like me, the distressing, to bring all the colors together a little bit more. And I added some photo mats. So I have cut the second half of the layout. And so when you order the True North bundle, make sure to download the instructions. And it gives you the complete cutting guide for everything to create 4 cards, a 1-page layout, and then 2 2-page layouts. So this is the first of the 2-page layout. I'm going to try and do the next 2 pages next week, maybe. I'm just drinking my coffee. Everything got a little bumped up getting everybody out the door this morning. So I am a little tired. It was a little bit of a late night. Everybody's been at home with me most of the week, and so it's been harder to get things done. But so I cut out the pieces exactly according to the directions, but I've added in a few things, and so we're gonna just assemble it today. So Corporate makes the workshop super easy to follow. It gives you, like I said, good morning, Linda, gives you all the measurements that you need, and all you have to do is follow the directions. So I thought I would go over some of the details and how I changed it up. So like I said, I added the texture paste onto the bottom of the layout. So because it took a long time to dry, I just set it aside, and now I'm going to assemble it. So I also inked the edges of all the cardstock with espresso ink. My dog is poking at me to pay attention to him because everybody else has now left. So I know you're not going to be able to see it, but The texture paste has added great dimension to the page. And with the little bit of the red shimmer in there, it's just got a little bit of a sparkle. So I did that. I've set it aside. I let it dry. It's completely dry now. And now we're going to assemble the page, the rest of the page, more according to the directions. So the first is this blue piece from Grateful Heart. So I'm just going to add that right onto the edge. It is so cold this morning. We got spoiled earlier this week. It was absolutely beautiful this week. And it led you to believe that maybe winter wasn't coming. But it is definitely freezing cold this morning. Nobody wanted to go outside. I had to take a bag of garbage out and the dog was in the backyard and he thought that I was going to play with him. I think he's going to get a little cooped up because he really did not have any interest in. Luckily he has a fur coat so he stays nice and warm. Okay, so then the next one, which is the saffron strip, is 1/4 inch to the side. So if I have my Versamat down, you could just line it up on there, but I don't, so I'm just going to use my ruler. And like I said, I just inked the edges, all the edges, with espresso, just with a sponge. I just like to cut them up. And then I just staple a little piece of cardstock either in that color or in white, and then I just write what color it is. And they just sit in a big, huge jar beside my desk. Just trying to make sure I stay on camera. So I kind of really like the way that the little candy apple accent with the texture paste kind of just ties it all together. Okay, so then this one is also 1/4 inch, and this is, I'm assuming, yep, the sapphire. So remember, everything's two-sided, so if you wanted to switch up, you have the lighter or the darker side of the cardstock. So you can, if the lighter side went better with your photos or the darker side, it's completely up to you. Oh, how about if we're using a ruler, we at least get it straight. There we go. Okay, and then I've just picked the lighter side of the espresso. And I just added to all the photo mats a little mat of the candy apple to kind of tie it in. So this one, ooh, I got stuff flying, is 1/8 inch. So just super close. I just find that with my ruler, it's the easiest way to line things up. Normally it's sitting on top of my Versamat, but I did not grab that this morning. Okay, and then, so like I said, I'm going to add the photos in exactly the same orientation that they did. So there's a 4x6 photo, and then the 2x2 photos, and all I did was I added them onto a candy apple mat. And see, this is when my Versamat really actually comes in very handy. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee while I'm doing this to make sure that I'm going to stay awake today. Woo! Okay, there we go. So, as most of you probably know, the one side of the Versamat has the foam, which is awesome for stamping on. And then on this side, there's a ruler. Sorry, I was just looking to see. So 3 1/4. So it makes it super easy to line things up for getting things straight. I just want to see, I think I'm going to move it more over this way because I want more of that texture paste to show. So I think we'll go like here. And right about here, I think. So that when I put this on here, you can still see the texture paste on either side of it. So yesterday, everybody was out for a small portion of the afternoon. They've all been on and off with me all week. My daughter's on university break. And then because it's report card time at my son's high school, they seem to have a lot of like early dismissal, and then they had a day off on Friday. So it has not helped my production level. So yesterday I started to cut my Oh What Fun scrapbooking workshop, the full one, the 6 pages, and oh my goodness, it's gonna be so cute. I'm so excited for it. I think everybody's gonna really like the way it turned out. Okay, so I think I'm gonna actually, even though it shows them approximately the same height, I'm just gonna bump it up a little bit. And there's a journaling box down here. And what I did was I just matted it on the espresso cardstock. And I'm going to add it over here. And because on the other side, I changed this little strip that went behind the photo mats to the saffron color, I thought to tie it in, I would add a little strip of the saffron behind this journaling box. So even though that's like the way that the guide shows you, it doesn't mean that's what you have to do with the pieces of paper. Just switch them up to suit your purposes. So on the journaling mat too, I just used my ruler and my Versamat and lined up my journaling and drew my lines with my black pen. Because lots of times if people don't like the way that their handwriting is, at least if it's on a straight line, it's helpful. So all I did was laid my journaling box on the mat and then lined up my ruler from side to side once everything was straight. And because there's notches, you can tell how far your line's going. And so that's how I added the journaling lines to the box. So yeah, so I think everybody's gonna like Oh What Fun. It is for sure my favorite Christmas. As much as I like the 'Tis the Season for the traditional feel of it, the whimsy of the Oh What Fun is awesome. And there's always so many colors going on at Christmas that it's kind of, we'll be able to go with everything. Okay, so then there's this little cluster of papers up here. Where did my vellum piece go? Of course it's see-through, so, oh, there it is. So I just thought I would again show you. This is just how I dovetail. It doesn't mean you have to. I just find it the easiest. I cut up the middle and then cut in from side to side. There's lots of different ways to do it though. You can also fold it in half and cut up to the middle this way without cutting in the middle. And I know it's super hard to see because the vellum is see-through, but I did the other pieces because I inked them first, because you guys definitely don't need to sit and watch me ink paper. So Oh, but look at that. I inked the wrong side. Okay. So I could switch it to the blue side, but I will. So see, here's my sponge. It's all cut up. This is probably about a quarter, I would say, of one of the sponges. And I just take my big pair of scissors and I cut them all up. And then normally I would, like I can either, I'll staple a piece of the same colored cardstock. Funny, the magnetic closure attracts all sorts of metal things off my desk all the time. Or I had a scrap of espresso, so I stapled that on there. If you don't though, then you always have scraps of white cardstock lying around. So I just write the name on top of it so that I know. I just find that they, I'm just going to put this slightly off the top, and I'm going to trim it from the edge in a second. I just find that the sponges last a little bit longer than the daubers, but the daubers definitely have a spot too. I'm just going to add adhesive in spots on the vellum where I know it's going to get covered up. And same thing with this one. I'm just going to leave it slightly askew. And then when you have things that run off your page, a great way to trim them is just to turn it over. Then you can actually see exactly your straight line. And I'm just going to use our non-stick scissors because of course there's adhesive on here, because I wouldn't know exactly. So it's not going to stick to my scissors though, it'll come right off. And then I pre-stamped these leaves from the stamp set. The stamp set is awesome. I'm sure you've seen it 1,800 times in my videos, but this is what it looks like. And it's fun. They use it throughout the workshop, but there's so many other things that you can use it for. So these leaves, they go through exactly how to stamp it. So for this little round piece that I have right here, for example, it says paper, white daisy, ink, espresso, stamp. Oh, that's interesting. It's the wrong tip because it says stamp maple syrup bottle centering maple. Oh, because it's from the bottle. That's right. Okay, so you actually stamp this maple syrup bottle right here and then cut out your circle. Or cut it, well, it's actually, I think the circle is cut with your Cricut because there's Cricut cuts in here. So you cut the circle out with your Cricut and then just center this stamp over top and it creates the maple leaf on the circle. So, and then for example here, accent, paper, white daisy, ink, espresso, hand trim. So we're going to do that now. So there's also some first and second generation and rock and roll stamping, and these are all like super great techniques to know how to do. Really, it's just, you just have to read and it tells you exactly what to do. So to get like second generation stamping, you would stamp it once. And this, so for example with the saffron, this is full strength stamped, and then I would stamp it beside and you get the lighter color. And then, so this one is just, this one for example is stamped once, and then the edge is rolled in the candy apple. Morning, Lisa. So I just thought I would finally finish this second page because I have 2 more to do. So they're cut and ready to go. It's just because each page takes me a while to assemble live, it's kind of hard to find the right time to do it. And with everybody coming and going the last few days, there has not been a nice window where I could actually sit down and do it. So I'm just fussy cutting around these leaves. We don't have fall leaves anymore. We have definitely hit winter here. We have, we don't have really snow. We have like a dusting, I would say, of snow. It did snow, but now it was really nice earlier in the weekend. Now it's very cold this morning. I'm not really sure what happened, but so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's good for me. I'm uber productive when it's cold because I don't like to go outside. I really don't think I was actually meant to live here, but I do. So I'm going to add this one over here to bring the candy apple onto this side of the layout a little bit. And so this one is the same. This is second generation saffron, but rolled with the espresso around the edge of the leaf. It's so little techniques like this expand the use of your stamps. It doesn't take much to make it look completely different than something you've already done. Like the two leaves look completely different even though it's exactly the same stamp set. Yes, I also think I should probably get these assembled and then move on to some more Christmas stuff. I was thinking too, I might cut up we have another deluxe workshop that they added into our selection from the Holiday Expressions idea book. And there's a deluxe workshop with the Hello Pumpkin that's stinking cute, and I'm thinking I might have to cut up some of that and go through some of the, because there's some fun techniques in it. So I thought that might be handy for, look at me making a big huge mess here. I'm not very tidily fussy cutting my leaves. I should probably cut them over here and then they won't end up on my layout. I thought by pre-trimming them out it would make it faster, but yeah, so as I was saying, the deluxe Hello Pumpkin, there are some cute layouts in there. So I thought I might try and cut them up maybe tomorrow and see we could add some more fun stuff in there. Kind of the same as I did with this one. Leave it generally the same, maybe add a different technique or something in them. It's just this, to assemble cards is so much faster on a live than a scrapbook page. And a 2-page spread is hard because it's hard to know how much to prep ahead and how much to actually do where you're actually doing it live. So I kind of try and do a combination of both things. I'm sure this part though is like watching paint dry. Okay, just one more. So, and I'm going to add some foam underneath to pop things up, just to add one more dimension to the page. Even though the texture paste already adds some, the foam squares or foam tape will add just a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think this was such a good idea to trim them out. But you want to move your paper around and not your scissors. I'm kind of actually doing a combination of both right now, and that's probably why it's taking me so long. But we're almost there. So I don't know if you guys actually find this helpful or not, but I just thought that sometimes it's nice to see that just because that's the way something's designed doesn't mean that's the way you have to leave it. I mean, No different than with my workshops. Just because that's the way I stuck it down on paper doesn't mean that you can't move the photo placement or add your photos in a different order or change the photo sizes. Okay, I'm just kind of curling the leaves a little bit, and I'm going to add them. I think these, no, this one up here and this one down here. I'm going to bring the red over here. I was going to add my twine, but I don't actually see it on my desk. So here's some, that's the red and gold twine. Just let me reach behind me. It would be funny that I actually like put it away when I'm still working on them. Huh. Okay, I can't find it. I might have to add it in after. I could probably just add the gold one onto this layout. So I'm just gonna use my scissors. I'm just gonna pop this back up. I think I'll just staple it on here too. So I'm just gonna decide how much. I think I'll do 3 strands. Because I didn't put twine on the other side, I don't think it really matters that it's the bronze one, obviously. I did 3 because I find that that's what sticks fits best in the stapler. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's my allergies that are crazy right now or if I'm getting sick. I hope I'm not getting sick. Good morning, Marcia. Okay, so I like to add a little tie around it, my twine, and I do that before I stick it down. So I'm just going to tie the 3 strands together, and then I'm going to move it around once I attach them onto the front. I'm just loosely tying it, and here we go. Got my stapler, and so I'm just going to staple it onto the one side. Voila. And I think I left the bottom of like the journaling lines a little bit wider at the bottom, just so that I could add something onto the bottom. Okay, and I'm just gonna trim the edges, and I'll stick it back down. And I think I'll put it over here because I'm going to tie the leaves over here, or attach the leaves over here too. So I'm just gonna grab my piercing tool. So if I'm doing this on like lots of pages, I actually have a tendency to do all the things at the same time. But because these are just like 1s and 2s, that I am just, oh shoot, I think I cut it too small, too short. Well, I can go back after and add a longer piece in. Super easy to. Okay, and so I just have here some foam dots. The thin ones are what's sitting on my table, so that's what we're going to use today. Actually, do I have some? No. So I'm actually super addicted to these. I love the dots. They're so easy to use. As easy as the foam tape is to use, these are even easy. Oh, there are my thicker dots. Okay, I'm just going to add 2 different thicknesses of foam onto the back of the leaves, just different dimensions onto them. Just gonna tuck this one under, and it just pops up a little bit higher than the other one. Okay, and I just have this set of leaves, and then this up here I think I'll pop onto foam too. Obviously I have something sitting underneath my Versamat there on my desk. Okay, I'm just going to put this one on flat. There we go. And a foam. Oy, oy, oy. There we go. So is anybody doing any fun scrapbooking this weekend? Something. My crop for the month is done. So my next one isn't till the beginning of December. December is always hard because everybody's so busy. But for everybody from the US, this is a nice quiet weekend before the chaos of next weekend. Okay. Oh, and this one. So, and the foam dots come in two sizes. So you can pick the right size relative to what you're sticking down. There's also the dots from the insides of the shaker pieces that are awesome, and foam tape, which I also love. Okay, so I just have to put the sequins down, but I'm just gonna double check the sequins from this side. So I didn't know if I'd mix them up, but it looks like I used all the super dark ones, so we're gonna do that on this side too. So these ones are the ones I used on the first layout. So I'll add them in here. So it looks like on the layout, your craft room is a disaster. Oh, I could organize and reorganize and still want to organize more. It seems like that's a never-ending battle for crafty people. But that sounds like an awesome thing to do this weekend, get organized. So I'm going to add them up here, and I think I'm going to add them into the little clusters with the leaves also. For sure, this one down here on the bottom. So sometimes if they pop up, it's easy enough to just push them back down and lift it up. So one other thing too is sometimes if you find that happening, I'll just go through and push them all down quickly, just because they get crumpled up and stuff, so they have a tendency to sometimes come off when you're not wanting. But the sheet is so pliable that when it bends and stuff, the sequins just slightly pop off their backs. So, but it's easy enough to fix. I love all that there's 4 different colors in this package of sequins. So different ones for all the different, for whatever you want. And it just adds, again, just another texture layer to the page. So there we go. That one is finished too. Well, thank goodness. It was taking forever. I was starting to get worried that I wasn't going to find time to come back. But so I'm going to see if I can get them side by side. I have to move stuff. Just one sec. So let me lift this out of the way here. This is what they look side by side. Sorry, there's like a light on each side that kind of crowds the table, but I need the light so you guys can see. So I think they turned out super cute and different. Like these are easily, you can use them for anything because the title says thankful. Really, I'm sure everybody's thankful for lots of stuff. So this is page 1. And again, there's the texture paste and all the different layers of sequins and leaves. And here's the one that we assembled today. Again. So I'm super happy with the way they turned out. Like I said, I already know what I'm going to do with the other set of pages. So watch for them. Hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.